Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
How are you?
الحمد لله الحمد لله على كل حالنا.
We're ready? It seems slides ready. I think we can start, inshallah, right?
Yep.
Okay. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa akhlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Welcome everyone to another Quranic journey. If you recall that we're still discussing the different categories in which that we can define the Quran as a unique book. Quran is a book, but is it the book? Because it has various aspects. And the aspect of Quran that we have been discussing is Quran as book of wisdom, hikmah. And obviously we know how the Quran itself praise the importance of hikmah, but the Quran as a whole guide us to find a hikmah in a way that we define essentially hikmah is to look at the creation and see the sign of creator in creation. And in a way that when we could read the universe as a meaningful book, so that's as one way to really looking at as a hikmah. Now, last week, and I think what's right now the slide you see on the screen, it's a beautiful summary of a long discussion we had. Our point was that we live in an era that we cannot just say, "Oh, Muslims, I believe in God," and then God created the universe. It doesn't work in a way that we need to develop or a better understanding of how we can see the sign of creator and refute the false arguments against the creator. Because when you go to internet or when you go to the schooling system, essentially, that you're brainwashed and you're told that as if that we have a universe in which that everything comes and work through cause and effect, and the universe began, let's say, 13.6 billion years ago, and then everything is just work based on under certain laws with certain interaction of the matter. We say, then if we are saying, oh, it's God that who created the universe at the beginning, we say that argument is not working anymore. What should we say? We should look at the very essence of human being, very essence of the creation, and say nothing can exist by itself, and I cannot exist by myself as well. Therefore, there must be a creator who is absolute, who can actually sustain my existence from moment to moment. So in that sense, we say modern science actually is very helpful because it reveals very strong evidence that the universe is not static, it's a dynamic, and matter is not really solid. It's in a way, it's just a wave or something that fluctuates and comes into existence every moment. So we think we as a believer should look at those scientific study of the universe and look at the Quran, and then to see how we can see a sign of creator that who is absolute, that who in a way reveal himself through the very essence of the creation that we study and discover, particularly in the 21st century. So that was the things we had. But what we were trying to do last week and the week before, we're basically trying to see how we can negate some materialistic arguments. And the argument of like the universe is, self-contained, means that everything can explain by itself. There is no need for, let's say, metaphysical dimension. So we discussed this, and I think last week we had one question. We had two questions, but we mainly spent time on one question from our audience, and we try to see how we can negate that, and we will continue on this. And I think there's another question as well. We'll cover this this week, inshallah. Let's start, Dr. Ali.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So now I'm ready to jump into the subject after your presentation. Thank you very much. If we ask the question, why are we here on this world? The Muslims who are familiar somehow with the Islamic culture information, they say we are created to worship God, to worship. And is this it? Yes, that's what Qur'an says. It's correct. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Most of the people know it by heart, this ayah. Yes, we are created to worship God, but to worship Him only. But we have to know Him. Now, without knowing who God is, we cannot worship Him. That is why all our classical scholars agree that to know God, to worship God, it is necessary to know Him. That's what the Quran concisely expresses. Yeah, of course, it is obvious for human beings that if you don't know somebody, you cannot appreciate it. That Quran says, for example, I'm just paraphrasing it in another sentence. I made this house. The architect of the house says, I made this house to appreciate me. And what I have to do in this condition, I have to know him so that I will appreciate him. How can I know him? That's why that is the question. How can I know him? He is, the architect is not in the house, and the architect is not in the world. This example, the architect of the universe, creator of the universe, is not within the universe, so that I will go and see him and get to know him. Ah, this is Dr. Nejati, I know you. No, it's impossible. How can I know him? How can I know the creator, maker of something simple? How can I know the maker of this computer? How can I know him? If someone comes here and says that I am the maker of this computer, would you believe it? You have to see the qualities in it and see that he has done this one, and then if you have these qualities, then you are the engineer of this computer. So that is only one way to know somebody or someone who is the maker of something by looking at his work. That's what we have to study the universe in order to understand and know who the creator of the universe can be. That is why before going into even further details, we have to we have to study the universe very well. Of course, we don't have to be a physicist, we don't have to be a chemist or biologist, but at least to pay attention to what is created out there. Nowadays, unfortunately, the universe is extensively studied, seriously studied by those people, mostly, not all of them, mostly conditioned mind. It means I'm not going to refer the universe, as Dr. Najati said from the beginning, to a transcendent being, to they call it metaphysic being, something outside the universe. I will explain the universe within the universe itself. How it's where the agent is. A simple example, I will explain the computer only within the computer as it functions by itself. That is the very simple way of understanding the attitude of the materialist scientists. Now, we studied this text, this slide. Now we come here. We said last week, when human feelings, human qualities ask the question for meaning, the purpose, and why are we living here? How the things can happen by itself? Is it possible? The answer is, from the materialist side, is very simple. It says, as we are going to study here today, let's go here. Here, I'm jumping from the beginning. We'll go back to the beginning of the slide. That is why materialists avoid to ask the question, why does something exist rather than nothing? And materialists claim that, look, materialists claim that. That is the last claim they agreed on. Our responsibility is to do what we can, learn what we can within the universe, improve the solutions. The solution for what? And pass them on. That is the purpose of existence for them. Study it, how it works, and pass them on. Next generations will continue studying. This is what we see. They have no answer to human questions. We notice that in this very meaningful sentence, and this summarizes all the materialistic views of the 21st century. So this is very new, the latest claim now. We just study it, benefit from it, exploit the universe as much as we can, and pass on new generation. That is what it is. Do we notice that there is no human question involved in this answer? What are the human questions? I am a human being, so I have to see the universe. I need an explanation. Now, human reality inquires this. The source of existence of beings and any qualities manifested in them. Where did they come from? How something happened, and how these are designed, purposefully arranged, wisely presented to human beings, and the connection between human senses, not only body, senses. I mean, I have eyes and something there I can see, but uh, I have eyes and I have my senses say that this is beautiful, this is meaningful, and I have my consciousness asks, why does it exist? So, who made this shape to it? Who designed the shape? And who gave existence? For example, nowadays, in the northern part of the world, modern hemisphere of the world, spring is coming. Suddenly, we realize now where I am, on the branches of the trees, flowers appear. Out of wood, flowers. Beautiful. I like it. Everybody takes picture of them. Why? They completely ignore it. Wonder who made it beautiful and who gave me the sense of appreciating beauty, loving beauty? Who gave them? And look at this answer. They conclude, no, we have to just see how the things work and pass them on. So simplistic, Dr. Nejati, incredibly simplistic, as if they are cheating a child. You know, if a 3 years old child asks you a question, Daddy, why it is like this, like that? Oh, that is what it is. You know, you have to just eat it and enjoy it. That's it. And he says, yeah, I have to eat it. I like it. But a 3 years old child who made it in a way that I like it. And you may cheat a 3 years old child. Maybe nowadays they don't swallow it easily though. But but they are treating human beings like they don't think. They are robots. Whatever we say as a scientist is, they will accept it. So all the qualities manifested in the creation, beauty, usefulness, and human qualities, asking for purpose. Now, the second one, human qualities, meaning and purpose of existence.
Dr. Ali, I know you want to go through, those are very important items. May I interrupt for the first one to just expand on it a little bit?
Yes,
Okay, so I think what you said it here. So the problem, I love the way you put it, that we are ignoring the human questions, which basically means that as a human being, you're supposed to ask some existential, meaningful question, and that's what means to be human. But what you mentioned, that basically they reduce human to robots. Robots essentially do the calculation. We call this calculative mind. You go to school, you learn how to calculate. You go work and you become more productive, produce the product, you make more money, you calculate how much money you make, but you're not really asking the human question. So in this case, that I think you put it very, very well. So what we call it, that, I remember in some scholars or philosopher, they call this calculative mind. So the calculative mind essentially focus on the material side and put everything in an equation and give you a formula of how to calculate and get the tool, but it does not really get you to focus on the meaning that we call the meditative mind. So in this regard, that essentially you're saying what makes us to be human is the meditation or the meaning side, the key question we ask. Sometimes they ask me, they say, do you think the AI or robot is going to gain intelligence and become a consciousness, become like human? I say, yes, robot will become like human because we make human to become like robots, therefore we're not different than robots. Because the way the educational system, the way that we really educate people, we take away those, what you put it, human questions. So in this regard, what is the question you'll ask? You say, as you mentioned, is really, you observe, you see there is beauty. You see there is order. You see there is wisdom. You see there is perfection. Then you ask question, how did we get this? So in this case, that basically to look at the things and explore and ask those questions is very human, given the human feeling, as you mentioned. There is beauty and there is a feeling in me, love this beauty. There is a perfection and there is a mind in me, appreciate this perfection. What is the source? What is going on? So the key part here in this case is to really, I don't know how we're going to do that, to really, make sure that learning is not studying a number, is not to learn how to use the tool, is essentially to study the meaning and try to understand the meaning side of creation, or the quality side, meaning you're going to bring in the second part, the quality, because the quality is absolutely way different than the particle itself. Because at every stage, the particles take different form and new quality emerge where it comes from. To see the quality and ask that, I think that is very, very essential. I think this is that's why I just want to really expand more on that one. I think this is something is very missing in modern times.
Now, the Quran treats human beings as guests. It says, "Kulu washrabu hani'an lakum bima kuntum ta'mal." Come, eat, enjoy yourself. And hani'an lakum is difficult to maybe translate. How do you say? In French, they say bon appetit. Enjoy it. Not nothing, not enjoy. Let me ask two questions to you, Najati, Dr. Najati. If I invite you to my house, you are always welcome, by the way. And when you come here with a black face, with a meaningless face, open the door and take you to kitchen and put a plate in front of you like this, without smiling, without welcoming anything. And how would you like? How would you feel? How would
Not
you?
good.
Not good. Will you eat really? Or you say, no, well, I have an appointment, I have to go. What would you wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't even swallow it. You wouldn't eat it. You say, what's wrong with you, Ali? Well, did I do anything wrong to you? You start questioning. You're a human being. When I see the flowers now, first smiling at me on the branches of the tree, and the creator of the tree, the universe, says, "Here, welcome," with a smiling face. I am going to provide you fruit, right? And make it nice. This is a welcoming ceremony. Do you think this is accidental, Dr. Asad? Random happened, developed by itself. By trees, look at the mentality the biologists say, materialist biologists say. Look at this, everything is adapting itself to its environment. Yeah? What is the point for a tree to flower first and then fruit comes slowly afterwards, adapting itself to the environment? Is there any reason that any materialist biologist can give that flower, the tree, or any, even the vegetables? They flower first and then vegetables are created afterwards. They have to do it, otherwise they cannot survive. Do I make it clear?
Yeah, I
So
think so. I think so.
now,
Yes.
Now, another example, I invite you and I welcome you as we universe, the creator of the universe is treating us in this way and gave you nice food and you just entered the house. Now, without looking for the meaning, for the human relationship, forget about human side, and you are a materialist scientist, God forbid, but and I gave you food, nicely speaking to you, welcoming you. You say, there are in it 8 milligram of olive oil and 50 gram of onion. Measure it when you say this, calculated, calculating mind, and ignoring what I am done to you. What do you think I should do to you? Shall I invite you again? That is the hell. God, the creator, who uh, God will treat those people who come to this universe, created in this universe, and they just calculate the things and ignore all the meaningful side, purposeful side of existence, and inquire, why are you giving all these beautiful bounties to me? And why are you welcoming me? Who are you? If you don't inquire all this, God says, I'm not going to invite you again. No, you will be deprived of my mercy, my compassion. You won't be my guest anymore. That is the deprivation of God's mercy, which is described in the Qur'an, hell. That is what we are giving this sense that understand the message of the Quran really, really describes hell and paradise exactly in our relationship with the universe, which kind of attitude we had. Now, the human reality, human futra, inquires meaning and purpose of existence. We cannot ignore it. Otherwise, I can't be a human being, as you said. I am not a robot. Impossible. And also the main three elements that we have to pay attention. This one, contradiction between human feelings, yearning for infinite satisfaction, and what is seen and experienced in the universe on the other side, the yearning for infinite satisfaction. We don't want only temporary satisfaction. We want everything beautiful, everything perfect, continuously. We don't want to get old, but the way we are created in the universe, everything is dependent, everything is transient, everything is subject to another being, for example, matter, energy, electromagnetic field, whatever they call it, they are all subject to an order. This order of creation, it cannot be the product of the matter itself. The order in the computer cannot be the product of the material elements of the computer. We have to understand this. So these material elements of the computer is subject to the maker's will, maker's purpose. They cannot be the source of existence of their order. These are the most essential way of understanding the universe that we have to be aware of now. Everything is subject to something beyond their will. They cannot. Do you think any matter, any energy, whatever they call, can act by its own will? Or do they have to obey the order the way they are created? They cannot choose. For example, do you think when you pour the water, water can act? I want to go there because there are plants there, they need me. Can they do it? Everybody, every being is subject to. And human beings don't want to have anything for their purpose which is subject to something else. What we do, we need infinite satisfaction, and the universe doesn't provide the infinite satisfaction at all. So we have to think about it. Why I want infinite satisfaction, but there is no infinite satisfaction in this universe? It means I am created for another purpose. Here I am in this world to get to know who the creator, who the source of existence of this universe, so that I will identify my existence, relating it to the creator of me and the creator of the universe. So, conclusion, I will say this.
Yeah, can I add something to the third one, Dr. Ali?
Now, before
Because I think
conclusion
that
or after conclusion?
I think maybe before, then you can conclude
Okay.
all together.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think the third one, when you say contradiction between human feeling, so that the two things came to my mind. One is that we need to recognize this contradiction. We see when people don't know this contradiction that they try to fulfill their feeling in this world, and they fail every time. The whole life journey become the journey of failure to fulfill that. So, and there is one economist put it in a very nice way. He said, more is less. The more you have, the less you think you have. Now chase it. No matter how much you have it, it will never satisfy you. So I think that to really see that I have the feeling can never be satisfied with anything less than infinity, it is very essential. That's when you say the contradiction between my feeling and my reality, or the reality of the universe, tells me that there is something I need to explore and search and find out why this is the case. Because I cannot trick myself and just say, oh, let's enjoy my life. I don't need to ask those questions, because I cannot enjoy my life, because nothing's transient can give me fulfillment ultimately. When it ends, it leaves the pain for me. So in this case, that to actually, it's what you're saying that contradiction is purposefully designed, that we could see and we can seek the source, and we can seek the eternal one to seek for the fulfillment. But unfortunately, a materialist system will tell you, if you're not fulfilled now, maybe you need to change your car. Maybe you're not going to be happy with that. Maybe if you move to another house, maybe you're going to be happy. Or maybe you change your partner, you're going to. So it's like, it's always giving you some hope that the fulfillment is just out there. But when we truly look our own experience and see what is happening, we see nothing can truly fulfill you, because you desire, your fitra desire eternity. So I think to see this contradiction, to see the human fitra with such desire, and to understand the reality, everything is transient, everything is going to die, and therefore you can never get the fulfillment, is very, very essential. When the Quran says, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ, and I think that is, Quran is clearly telling us that don't waste your time, and you cannot have this. So it's in this regard, you're saying like what the materialists are trying to do, they try to shut down this human inquiry, the human fitra that's normally lead to the creator. But you're saying that when you shut down that part, then now you close the door for them to actually find the creator. I think that's very, very important observation.
Yeah. So this contradiction is an invitation to get to know the source of existence of the universe, so that only this creator of the universe, creator of human beings, can satisfy these needs. So materialists ignore this side and reduces themselves to this word only, and they have no answer. Why do I have this? They say you have to accept it. You know that. The 20th century philosophers. You have to accept the world as it is and enjoy yourself until you die and you disappear. One day, I still laugh when I remember this event. We were going through the marketplace in somewhere with our first child. She was 3 years old that time. And there was a toy store passing by, and me and my wife noticed that the child is looking at them with then, oh, if only I have something from there. I said, okay, let's go into the store and buy a toy. And we get into it and ask the child, I think, as far as I remember, it was long ago, choose one of them. What did she say? Yes.
One more?
No. She looked at it, skimmed the whole store. Believe me, that is very human. Looked all of them like this, like this, like this, like this. And she said, I want all of them. I want. Everything is for her appetite, taste. Everything was, I want this, or I want this one as well. I want this one as well. So what does it mean? Human beings cannot be satisfied with this life at all. It means there is a purpose in the creation, and this is an invitation for an eternal life. Yeah. So this is denied because they cannot answer human reality. They have to ignore human reality in order to be able to, how do you say, poison the minds of people in general, those people who don't really think deeply. Human reality must be taken into account. Now, I will pass on to the subject a bit deeper context.
Dr. Ali, very quickly, just can I add one thing to previous slide, because we are really dealing with educational projects. Just one point. What I feel the modern education intentionally skips anything about the quality, focus on the material first. Everything is about electron, proton, cells, no quality discussion that. Second things, there is no discussion of the meaning in the physics, chemistry, biology, as if you study the book, only the ink and paper. And third, it never acknowledged that this contradiction between the human feeling and the reality, telling people as if you can actually fulfill that, tricking and deceiving people. So I just want to really highlight this. To me, this is not philosophical discussion. This is the reality of modern times. shaping the educational system and mind of people. Therefore, I think it's very essential to really consider those points very carefully. Yes, please.
That is the design of the materialistically minded educators. It's a long discussion about education. Disaster. The Muslims are swallowing it without realizing, because that is what we deserve. We don't think. Okay. We refer from time to time to Said Nursi. It's an interesting man. And I hope the whole world knew him. Unfortunately, not that famous in the world as he deserves to be. He wrote in 1926, where that time was newly developing this quantum mechanics and trying to demonstrate what they claim to be true or something. And also, they that time newly started talking about the field theory, or that's their theories, mentioning that we cannot really have um, something existing and its existence is fixed. No, the universe is nothing but vibrations. That's what they say, right? اهتزاز in Arabic. So vibrations, like the waves on the surface of the sea, for example. You can say there is wave here. Yes, can you catch the wave? No, but there is a movement there. Movement. That is the best way to explain that this is vibrations. What does it mean, this? Why I took the Said Nursi's writing, which took place in 1926. We have no sign that Said Nursi studied science at all. He's not a scientist, but he is the scientist of the Quran. He is the student of the Quran. You see the mind of the person who studies the Quran, in fact, doesn't have to study the universe to understand that there is nothing really you can keep it. Because we will study this ayah, inshallah, today. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. Now, inshallah, we can study this. Now, what he wrote in 1926 with the enlightened mind by the Quran, studying the Quran, looking at the universe from the, if you like, telescope of the Quran, or from another perspective, microscope of the Quran. If you are looking at the macro world, telescope of the Quran, look at it. If you are looking at the micro world, microscope of the Quran, you will see what the reality is. What he wrote has nothing to do with scientific studies at all. And it wasn't where he was. He was in prison anyway, so he wouldn't be able to have an access to the sources, the books. And also these books were not translated maybe that time, maybe translated, I don't know. And anyways, it is impossible for him to learn from the scientists. He said, it's very interesting. The transformation of particles are vibrations, exactly the same word. Vibrations, اهتزاز in its original language. Exactly, it means vibrations. And wanderings that occur. But he's, of course, looking at interpreting these vibrations from Quranic perspective, not materialistic perspective. So, while the signs of creation ayatullah, ayatul khalq, are being written in the book of the universe by pen of power of the eternal inscriber, which means he describes like this. You take the pencil and continues to write with no intermittence in between. Continues to write. That's what we are observing in this universe. Nah? So when I write like this continuously, what happens? That's the description of it. It's a beautiful, very powerful sentence. So when I write continuously, materialists think that the shapes of the other, how do you say, pencil, color or carbon, whatever it is, making it. But meaningful sentences are written. Signs of creation being written in the book of the universe. That's why the universe is a book. Now, by the pen of power of inscriber, no, pre-eternal inscriber, it means uh, uh, absolute power of the creator. So infinite power of the creator. They are not games of chance. He knows. The materialists will call it as games of chance and jumbled meaningless motions, random happenings, like the materialists and naturalists fancy. Do you see the power of this sentence? In 1926, so the materialists say this, there is no vacuum in the universe. That because it's a continuous vibration by the absolute power, infinite power of the creator. But they say there is no vacuum in the universe. That's correct. Scientists observe quantum fluctuations, which are constant vibrations, they describe it, that manifests as the continuous creation and annihilation of particle pairs. But who is doing it? What is the reason for them to happen? Continuous creation and annihilation. What is the agent? No, it happens by itself. But careful Quran readers know that يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. If you ask me, Dr. Nejati, some people say, I believe in the Quran because there are miracles in it. Yeah? And what is that? The ayah describes human beings go through 4 dark uh, places or whatever. This famous ayah described the
Yes.
mountains are moving. No. They are somehow, but miracle of the Quran, there are very interesting ayats in the Quran that are not known generally by the Muslim population, demonstrates the miraculousness of the Quran. This sentence, I am not saying ayah or anything, this sentence can only be said by the creator of the universe. What does it mean? It is God who, that Yamhullahu, God announces and confirms infinitely, continually, because God is absolute. Absolute action must be infinitely, continually. Whatever He wills, matter cannot happen by itself. Who said this sentence in the physical world? A man, I'm describing it, don't misunderstand, I'm respectful, who is called Muhammad, living in Mecca. There is no education, there is no science at all, there's no book studied, Mecca, completely pagan society. And there he says, God annuls and confirms. Yuthbit confirms, and yamhu annuls, mahu. You write something in, yeah, and erase it. No, annuls with erases it and confirms it immediately with no interval. Why? Whatever he wills, because the creator, and with him is the master record. It means Kitab, but it is translated by or understood by our classical scholars by the Imam Mubin. Imam Mubin means Kitab, which means Ilmullah, represents the creator's absolute knowledge. So everything is, when you say, that is what the quantum scientists say, when you look at something that exists here, disappears. It doesn't there. It means there is no gap. What does it mean? I feel that I can't really explain it. There is no gap in creation, and at the same time it disappears. People are recently realizing this kind of things, but the Quran said it for 1,450 years ago, and through the mouth of a person who doesn't know how to read and write. This is the miracle of the Quran. And if you read the Quran carefully, like we read the example of Said Nursi here, you don't have to wait for scientific discoveries. He has already said it before they discovered it from the Quran. So we have to really read the Quran carefully and benefit from it. Anyways, the time is getting closer to the end. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Another ayah. Allahu yakhluqu ma yasha'u idha qada amran. فإنما يقول له كن فيكون. It means God creates what he wills, right? And when he wills a thing to be, he but says unto it, be and it is. Very famous. But what does it mean, be and it is? There is no time difference we have to understand. Be and it is. Now, God wanted the universe to be, right? To be. And the whole universe, with its space-time dimension, time and space, one command, be, that's it. And here is the universe. What we do here, it's a famous example and classical example. That is Imam, it represents Imam Mubin, right? The real. And everything is there already. What we human beings are here, do you see my cursor moving?
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Now, we see every frame, but when you see something, of course, this is human made. There's a gap. In 1 second, I heard that 60 frame passes in 1 second. But in the creation of the universe, now scientists are sure that there is no gap. Where was it? There is no vacuum in the universe. Here. There is no vacuum in the universe. But this is only possible to describe with this. It is just an example, human-made example. So we have to know that we are within a universe created everything with no time interval. It means space-time, they call it nowadays. Now, that is what we are experiencing only in time. We see it in time. But in fact, the time means there is no external time out there. Time means the disclosure that we are going through, observing the new frames are coming continuously. So we say, this film took 1 hour or 2 hours. But in fact, everything is what? One instant. Kun feyakun. Kun feyakun. This represents absolute knowledge of God. The real represents absolute knowledge of God. We are just receiving and observing it as it manifests itself as far as we are concerned. So we have to be very careful. From the universe, if someone asks me what the universe is, now, from my perspective, universe is continuously renewed, right? A new frame come, continuously renewed from my perspective. But from the creator's perspective, if I say, how about the creator? This continuous renewal with no gap, time gap at all, demonstrates that the creator of the universe must be an absolute being. Only an absolute being can create with no gap at all. I mean, mathematically speaking, if you divide infinite by any number, what is the result? Infinite divided by 1 billion equals to
Infinite.
infinite. That is how we should understand God's being absolute, absolutely infinite. What witnessed by the universe? There is no gap in the universe. Only an absolute source of existence can make this universe as we observe it. But materialists say it happened by itself. That is how it is. Look at this. That is how it is. So I will come to this and the time is up. Now, another quotation from Said Nursi again in the same book, in the same time again, written in 1926. Now, I will read it and finish today's discussion and go on. Now, okay, new subject. Now, indeed, he's writing this. Indeed, the transformation of particles are motions and meaningful vibrations that proceed according to the principles of the clear record, which is in the Quranic language, Imam Mubin, which is, this clear record is a title for divine knowledge, ilmi ilahi, absolute knowledge, and command, emir, kun feyekun. Yep. Kun feyekun took once. Well, we never thought about this. The universe, God doesn't say kun, 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 kun. The universe, absolute creator, is absolute manifestus once. That's it. And until it contains the ordered plan of the past origin and future outcomes of all things in the world of the unseen. It means in the world of the unseen is here, ghaib. Ghaib is absolute knowledge. Everything is there already. That's what the Quran describes in many verses. This one. We know everything from the beginning to the end at the same time. It means knowledge of the creator of this universe must be an absolute knowledge, infinite knowledge. Now, these transformations are then brought into the visible realm through a kind of transcription from the clear book, Kitab Mubin. Now, if you like, this is absolute knowledge, and what we are observing here, the manifestation of this knowledge is realized in the universe here. This is the universe. We are seeing the universe as it is, in it is time and space, space and time dimension at the same time. This screen that we are observing is the universe. So try to imagine it. According to us, it is taking in time. According to the power and the knowledge of the creator at the same time. So from which perspective we are looking is important. When we look at who can be the creator of this universe, an absolute being. When I say absolute, I cannot say number. Yeah, can you describe absolute with any number? Infinite, absolute, which means infinite, any number? No. But what we do here, we number. We say there are, let's say, 10,000 frames. We say it took 1 hour. Look, that's what we say. It took 1 hour. That there were 10,000 frames or 100,000 frames. Is it clear? But as far as the creator is concerned, one instant. If you understand this, we should never swallow this materialist minded people's interpretations. These transformations are then brought into the visible realm for us through a kind of transcription from the from the clear book. This is also Qur'an says Kitab Mubin. Kitab Mubin. The clear book is the title for divine power manifesting itself and will, divine will. And it relates to the present moment and the manifest world. This is the manifest world. We are observing it. So we cannot liken the creator to us. We are created being within the universe. We are within the universe. But we look at the universe and conclude that the creator of this universe must be an absolute being because there is no gap in the universe. Now, there is no vacuum in the universe. So thus, these motions and meaningful vibrations emerge through the ongoing writing and drawing of the word of the power and on the tablet of effacement and reaffirmation, which is lahu mahwa isbat. This universe is tablet of effacement and reaffirmation. This verse. يَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ. God annuls and confirms continuously whatever he wills. So we should understand that when God wills to something to exist, it exists according to his will, but we human beings are in the universe going through as if a time tunnel in the universe. But it has no vacuum, there is no time, there is no gap between time. For example, how many times a frame passes? We cannot count it because there is no gap in the creation. Be and it is. It is difficult to explain for me, but it is beautiful. This tablet is the metaphorical page that represents the continuous unfolding, change, and renewal of events. In other words, the very reality of the flow of time. That's what, from our perspective, we are going through the flow of time, but the uh, universe indicates that the creator of the universe must be an absolute being. And my hope is people, now the scientists facing this nowadays, saying that there is no vacuum, there is no gap in time, it means they are ready to acknowledge that the universe, that they are coming very close to acknowledge that this universe can be the product of only an absolute being, cannot happen by itself with these unimaginable qualities, impossible. Wassalamu alaikum.
Excellent. Yeah, very, very, I think, deep, very important point. Let me try to really summarize this key point. I remember when around 25 years ago, when I was doing my PhD, there was one friend who was doing PhD in physics. One day we read from that part from Nursi, and he was completely amazed. It was first time he heard, and he was, doing PhD in physics and knowing all this discussion in quantum physics. And, knowing Nursi as not being scientist, but saying some things that only modern science could know, he was really shocked. So your point here is that actually, if you want to know the reality and you take the Quran as a guide, then the Quran can teach you that. And obviously Nursi took this idea from the Quran and the ayah that you mentioned. Now, what is the things? That's why it's that important. I think the key, what we're trying to understand is that the universe, the reality of universe is very essential as we study and discover ultimately in the 21st century that we have a dynamic, continuous creation. The very essence of being particles, everything's clearly point to an absolute being to be the source. So in this regard, I think what we're trying to say, we're saying that basically we need to look at the scientific knowledge. We need to look at the Quran. We need to have the proper understanding of the reality of the universe. And once we have that, whether that's come from the proper scientific knowledge or come from proper study of Quran, as Nursi did, then we're going to see the universe is dynamically, continuously being created from moment to moment. And in that, once we see the reality in this way, and I think the analogy that Nursi used, it was really perfect, and as if we are looking only to see the ink and continuously writing, but we have the mind to know the pen and ink cannot write this meaningful expression. Therefore, there must be mind behind all this vibration that give us this flower, this fruit, this beautiful universe from moment to moment. So, and I really like it in a way, because I say, one way when we say, how do you know God? Remember at the beginning you said that we need to know God to actually worship him. One way you can say, yeah, I know God because God created the universe. But how do you know God created? Now, what we are saying, we're talking about the universe being created right now. He constantly creates. So therefore, it's like when I say I'm an artist, I don't bring an old painting and say, this is my artwork. I actually do the artwork right now, a live one, to show you. Then there will be absolutely no doubt that in terms of me being an artist and showing my art skill through my artwork. So I think what we're observing a dynamic creation in which the creator continuously and directly introducing himself through his dynamic creation. And I think science arrived to this point. Quran has been on those points for obviously more than 1400 years before. And I think it's really essential that we try to build our understanding of reality based on this as well. And I feel still the common understanding is based on quantum physics. The common understanding is based on more materialistic understanding. And I think your whole emphasis here, let's be aware of this new reality that comes through science as well, and was already there in Quran. And once we understand this reality and reflect on it, that should take us to the absolute being as the source. And I think once we understand that, then submission to him, love of him, worship to him will be absolutely pleasant things. And the best thing to do is not that you do out of your, let's say, obligation. You will do out of love, as you mentioned at the beginning. Once you see it is him with all this flower and fruit and directly serving you and inviting you to enjoy that, then you enjoy and you express your appreciation with sincere sense of feeling. And inshallah, our discussion that we have, our reflection on Quran will be very helpful to that. Thank you very much. I hope, we will continue on this. Inshallah, next week we have more example, very interesting one. This is very deep subject. It's not going to finish in one session. So inshallah, we will continue on this next week.
So as I was listening to you, I wrote this sentence: knowing the qualities of the universe is necessary to know its creator, God. No, we cannot imagine God. We cannot say that God created and make it easy. The time is changing, and the materialist scientists are speaking with a sure language and saying that there is no need to believe in God. So we have to be very careful how to understand the universe, the reality of the universe, how the universe is really being a perfect sign to who the creator is. So that is the only way. That's why that's what the Quran emphasizes, that think about it, think about this, pointing out the objects of the universe, the samawat, ard, and everything. Examples gives, say that reflect on them, reflect on them, reflect on them. Inshallah, why we are emphasizing, and I feel more need to emphasize on it, because Muslim world has ignored the universe while they are studying the Quran for centuries. So we have to wake up. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin bi hurmati sirri surati al-Fatiha.
Thank you very much, and see you inshallah next week. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.